What's up, everybody? It's Fineokay. A brief intro before we get into today's video. Today's video is going to be a reaction video. I'm reacting to Asmon Gold, who reacted to a SMITE 2 video made by Big Fry TV. It's like a 30-minute video. Of course, I'm going to put their videos in the description if you want to check out the original links. But people have been telling me to react to this. I don't know what it's about. I mean, I know it's about SMITE 2, and I think maybe the controversy around it, especially the skins. I haven't watched any of it, but quite a few people told me that I should react to this, so I figured I'd just, make a video on it. So without further ado, I'm just going to start the video. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, if I agree with things, if I disagree with things, and, if it is about the controversy around SMITE 2, I also wanted to make it because I've been talking about it on my stream a lot. I mentioned it in my video. Some people have been commenting. Some people have commented they agree. Some people have been commenting they disagree. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the video. Hopefully my camera can be right here. Sure. Wait, let me turn off my chat box. There we go. All right, surely this is a fine spot for it.
About SMITE and a SMITE 2 drama going on.
SMITE 2 just got announced yesterday, and it's already causing quite the stir in their community. If you were to take what Twitter is saying literally, the game is already dead on arrival.
Oh, wow.
I think within our community, like our actual community, that's not the case. But like you said, maybe on Twitter, it's a vocal minority. A lot of people, you'll always see the negative stuff.
Well, that's kind of bad. They should just cancel it then.
So if you're not familiar with SMITE, it's a third-person MOBA with a ton of different gods that you play as. I played it a little bit back in the day, and I actually enjoyed it, but there were just so many other games that I was playing at the time, I just never really invested a bunch of time into it. But the big
That's the problem I have with games all the time. I find so many games fun. It's just like, if you have your main games, it's hard to commit time to the games that you want to try out, especially if they require a lot of time, like a MOBA.
Controversy is that the vast majority of the skins that you purchased or earned in SMITE 1 aren't being moved over to SMITE 2. Now, SMITE 1 initially released in 2014.
So that's what people are mad about? They're mad about skins?
Made on Unreal Engine 3.
Yeah.
SMITE 2, which is set to go into alpha testing, I think in the summer of this year, was built from the ground up on Unreal Engine 5. On the frequently asked questions part of their website, the developers say that SMITE 2 is a multi-generational leap from SMITE 1, from UE3 to UE5. That means we have to completely rework or recreate every piece of content for it to function in SMITE 2.
Correct.
There are currently over 1,600 skins in SMITE.
I mean, most games do this. Like, the only reason CSGO didn't do this with CS2 is because, I mean, gambling on skins is like probably more popular than playing the game. So it's like it would be better if they didn't port over the game and they ported over the skins.
Yeah, the only problem with that, with the CS comparison, is in SMITE, you can't like transfer your skins to somebody else. You can't give your skins to anybody else. You can't sell them. You can make money on CS skins. It is like its own gambling. It's its own currency basically. But in SMITE, it's literally just locked to your account. It's just something that's attached to your account. You can't do anything about it. You could sell it on a third-party website, but if you weren't to keep your skins going over to CS2, people would lose millions of dollars. You're not losing money when you lose your skins in SMITE 1 because that's not an investment. I mean, I guess you could say that CS skins shouldn't be an investment, but that's a different story. But you're just losing the pixels at that point in SMITE.
And it's like, yeah, it's CSGO 2, and there's just all new skins. There's nothing else is the same. And so, like, yeah, I get that.
Excluding mastery skins,
Call of Duty
to just port every skin to SMITE 2 would take about 246 person years of work.
That's a lot of time.
And we couldn't do both
246 person years of work.
SMITE 2 as amazing
and
as
of course Valve.
If we focused on starting
Valve is a billion-dollar company, and Hi-Rez is definitely not.
So to make this transition a little better,
I mean, are they wrong? Like, I don't think that they're wrong. Probably not. Yeah, I don't really.
Asmon is saying Hi-Rez isn't wrong.
Is offering what they're calling legacy gems.
And also, I want to say too that it is disappointing that people don't have new their skins ported over. Like, it's definitely disappointing, and like PoE 2 did that, and so did Overwatch 2. So like, obviously, it would be great if they were able to do this. But is this something that like you need to have, and like if you don't, the game is DOA? No, I don't think so.
It shouldn't be.
I'll also quote from the facts section. I want to make sure I get all of this right. For every gem that you've ever spent in SMITE 1, free or purchased, you'll receive a legacy gem in SMITE 2.
What's the popular place that everybody plays SMITE on? Does it have its own launcher, or do people play it on Steam? People play it on Steam? Well, let's see how popular the game is.
Well, of course, console as well. This won't show all of the info because it's
Okay, so like I'm assuming
the majority of Smite players play on console. So if you look at the scene charts, it's not going to show everybody. If I had to guess, and this is a complete guess, with 17,000, 18,000 people playing right now on Steam, and majority of people playing on console, I'd say they probably have like 100,000 players right now currently playing, maybe like 90,000. And for Smite 2 to do well, it's going to have to still capture that console audience. Let's see if
they announced Smite 2, it went up by a lot. So like on average, they had like 12,000 people playing the game.
A lot of the people in his chat are saying not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, but like, is it really a good use of their time to redo all of their skins for such a small player base? Like, I don't know if that's a good decision. Like, that's like, for example, so like in my mind, right? New World's probably about the same size of a game. And maybe a bit smaller, maybe a bit larger, depending, right? But somewhere around New World size.
Yeah.
If New World made New World 2, would I be angry at them that they didn't port over all of the old skins?
Well, I guess the point is, like, doesn't matter how small your audience is or big your audience is. If they're who's funding your company, making you have a profit, you want to please them still, of course. But the flip side, and I think what Asmodee was trying to say, is that if your player base is too small and you're trying to capture a new audience, you might have to piss off some of your original audience in order to get to the point where you want to get, where you have a much larger audience and actually have a really big game, you know?
No.
Sorry if I keep pausing.
Do I think that they should invest that time and money into doing that? No.
Yeah.
Seems like a waste.
Gems can be used to pay for 50% of the price of most in-game purchases.
The legacy gems
so things like skins,
are already a really good step in the direction
in Smite 2
to pleasing their original player base.
Spend all of your legacy gems. And if you purchase a Smite Founders Pack, your legacy gems will be doubled. As Smite 2's currency is changing slightly from Smite, this ensures that you'll have the equivalent purchasing power. So you basically get a 50% discount on anything moving forward based on how much you spent in the last title, meaning every skin that you want to buy in Smite 2.
This is already such a good step in the right direction. Like, Hi-Rez is already doing more than any of these greedy companies will do, and they have billions of dollars. Just look at games like made by EA and FIFA. You lose your skins from one FIFA generation to the next. You lose all of your money, and you have to spend $70 to buy the game. You don't have to spend any money to play Smite. And the problem is, even I think beyond, unless they literally brought back every skin or refunded you for everything you ever got, people are always going to be mad because they're just so attached to their skins that they've bought. And there's not really an argument that you can make with them that's going to change their minds, I think, a lot of the time. Maybe some people will that are more open to it. But I think at the end of the day, like, it seems harsh, but it's like, you just got to get over it. If you love Smite, you should support Smite too, in my opinion.
Will have a 50%
sound like a shill,
discount.
But I'm being honest. I'm always honest.
Into it, and this is what people are having a big problem with, because transferring. People are freaking.
I talk shit about Hi-Rez all the time. You guys know this. Unless you're a new viewer.
Using comparisons to Overwatch and CS2 as reasons as
well, I mean, like, let's just be honest though. Like, Overwatch and CS2 have a development studio that is gigantic.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? Like, this is it's a dramatically different like scale. Like, you can't expect a small developer.
Seems like both of these guys are leaning on the side of Hi-Rez.
All of the skins that they paid for and the thousands of dollars spent.
Like, I bet if the developers of Smite could push a button and just be like, all the skins are ported over, boom, do it, I bet they do it. It's not like they aren't doing it because they don't want to do it.
For the last 10 years should be
that actually may disagree with a little bit. And this is where I'm coming back to being honest. I actually don't know if they would want to do that, because if Smite 2 doesn't do really well and capture a really brand new big audience, they want to still survive at least for a little bit in their niche community. Hi-Rez does. They want to have some few years on Smite 2 that it does well. And in order for that to happen, they're going to need the loyal player base to support the game and buy a bunch of skins again. So I think they actually kind of are banking on that people will still want to do that, which isn't a bad thing. But it kind of goes against that. I don't think they actually would. Maybe they would. I don't know for sure, but
and moved forward into the
game may not
title.
survive if it
Their
doesn't do
Twitter
super
account
well.
has been spammed under every
If they
single
did that.
post from gamers angry that their skins aren't being moved up 2 engine generations. This gamer here says, all I read is spend more money. We don't care about your old skin.
To be fair, this is literally a tweet with no likes, no retweets, and no comments that has 3 views.
LOL. The fact that we're supposed
See, that's what I was saying. I don't think the majority of the community is feeling like this. I think obviously controversy is fun and you can make content off of it. So that's probably what Big Guy TV did originally. And Asmongold Gold's reacting to that, of course. And now I'm reacting to it, but
if not thousands of dollars of skins, plus to be expected to keep paying for more stuff in SMITE 2.
You're not expected to pay for anything.
Delusional.
SMITE is free to play.
More money from me when you won't respect
he just
my
said it.
money. This gamer here, Big Dick Deviant, says,
I'm sorry to say, but like I think that they bring a good point in, but at the same time, there is a little bit of ridiculousness, like not respecting your money and you're buying skins in a video game. Like I don't think that you're respecting your money either. Like that's just my opinion, right? Like,
seems like Asmongold and I probably have a very similar outlook on this. I said it in the other video, and maybe it's harsh again. You're literally just changing the colors of the pixels on your screen. And you could argue that even just playing video games, you're just watching pixels on your screen change. And yeah, you are. It's a fun thing that you're doing. You're just trying to enjoy it, be entertained, right? So when you change the colors of the picture on your skin, you're getting entertained. And if you bought the skin and you use the skin, you got your value out of it. Do you ever go back to a skin you bought like 7 years ago and you're like, yeah, I still feel the exact same about this skin today that I did back then. I feel like for most people that's not the case, but yeah, that's my harsh outlook on it. I mean, you wasted the money when you bought the skin, and that's fine. It's fun to waste money. You go throughout life, you want to waste money to have fun. So hopefully you got the benefit out of it.
I'm not saying that like they should just delete or take away all the skins, but like, do we really have to get that serious about it?
50% discount.
But yeah, I still understand why people are frustrated
on this game. Real WRU says you guys are criminals. I want a refund for all the skins that I have purchased. And Dexterol here says, honestly, I don't think I'm going to play SMITE 2. I have over 1,300 skins, spent thousands. If they can't even port the skins over, there's no point.
My God.
They're not even giving you the gems to buy them
skins.
back. They're basically giving you legacy gems to buy a skin for 50% off.
Yeah.
This user here just wants them to port all of the old models into Unreal Engine 5 without changing the graphics. The game will still function the same. You'll just see lower quality skins from UE3 and the new UE5 skins can coexist. Tell me
Come on, man. That is just ridiculous.
Zero clue about anything you're talking about. But I'm really
well, and it's also like, yeah, I feel like it's probably not that simple, number one. Number two,
of course not.
All of these people are looking at it from a perspective of a person who is a big fan of SMITE, and they're actively playing SMITE. So
yeah, that's another good point.
Solutions and these problems are from the mindset of a person who is super invested into it. They're like, they have $1,000 into it. Like, is it a good thing for new players whenever SMITE 2 comes out that they log into the game, even theoretically, and they see a bunch of low poly models? No. I bet if people saw that, they would think, wow, this game looks really cheap. I don't think I want to spend money on it.
Yeah, that would be silly.
So it's like, again, they're not looking at it from the perspective beyond their own.
Apart from like a Easter egg or some nostalgia, like maybe bring back like one skin just for, the nostalgia aspect of it, like, if you did that with like half the skins in the game and everything was on an old engine, looked horrible, and everything on the new engine, that'd be silly. But that was just one person saying that. I don't think anybody would actually want that or agree. But since we're already like 10 minutes of the video, I just want to say this. I said it in the other video as well. Something people have to keep in mind as well is that the reason Hi-Rez is doing this with SMITE 2 is because of the previous trajectory. What they were going with on SMITE 1 was slowly dying. I don't think I can get into details, and I'm not going to tell you guys everything, but if you were a fan of SMITE 1 and you were one of these people that was super invested into your skins and everything like that, in a couple years' time, if we hadn't changed anything, I say we because I want to be on their side. I want it to do well. If they hadn't changed anything, you would have lost your skins anyway. There'd be no SMITE. There'd be no SMITE existence. There'd be no universe of SMITE. You would have lost all of your money anyway. SMITE 2 is a necessary venture for them in order to keep SMITE alive. So yeah. I just wanted to say that because I think it's a very important aspect that people are missing. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, just keep making Smite 1 updates, keep doing that, and we'll keep our skins forever, and we'll, go into the fairyland, living happily ever after. But the reality is, there's a reason they're doing big changes like this. They needed to, because the previous trajectory was not going to be it. So you would have lost them anyway.
Curious as to what you guys think, because
that doesn't mean that they're wrong. Like, I don't think that they're wrong for being frustrated and disappointed, and I think that they're right. It does suck that this is happening, but at the end of the day, I can see why they would do it.
I'm kind of sitting here and like, I can definitely understand the frustrations from gamers. Like, you spent a bunch of money on this game, a new one's coming out, and like all your skins like no longer transfer over. Yeah,
it's like a double-edged sword as well, because it's like, it almost seems worse or maybe better that it was over a 14-year span for Smite, or 10-year span, whatever. Because on one hand, you spent all that time building up your skin collection and everything like that. 10 years seems like it's a bit going down the drain as far as if you're one of these people that care about skins that much. But then also 10 years, it's like, well, they gave you 10 years of a good game, a live service game, constant updates, did everything they could to make the game good, especially for their loyal fan base, despite all the buggy problems with the old engine. So it almost seems better in that sense. Like, it was a long time that they were able to do that for you. They could have just abandoned the game after a few years. So there's both sides,
Sucks.
But
does. Like, duh. Like, is this not what we've been talking about for the last, like, 10 years on this channel? Microtransactions are a money sink. Like, you don't buy microtransactions if you're not okay
with it. You don't own them. And that's a big thing that a lot of people need to understand whenever they purchase a microtransaction. Whenever you buy, let's say, the Celestial Steed in WoW, or like one of these cosmetics in Smite, you don't actually own that cosmetic. You only own a license that allows you to use the cosmetic that's given to you by the developer, that they can remove at any time for any reason.
Yep, and they can remove your account.
You literally don't own.
You could spend $50,000 on a Smite account, and you do one thing wrong. Although, I mean, if one thing wrong, usually if it's a permaban, you did something wrong, or maybe multiple things wrong, but you did something really wrong, your account's gone. All of that money's gone. And obviously you're getting punished, so that's a little bit different, but you don't own any of it.
It's only one step above having an NFT.
Is losing them when the next games come out. Now, I know a lot of people are making comparisons to Overwatch. Overwatch was literally regarded as like a 1.5. It was like people were pissed.
And that's also a very good point. Yeah, like, why are you comparing to Overwatch 2 whenever Overwatch 2 was bad?
It's a bad comparison. We were talking about it on stream the other day. The game, Overwatch 2, is basically the exact same as Overwatch 1. The engine jump is not nearly the same. It's a billion-dollar company. And to make things worse, you had to spend money on Overwatch 1. I'm pretty sure Overwatch 2 was free if you had Overwatch 1, right? But that wasn't even a free-to-play game. So it's not even a comparison.
Basically felt like a DLC, right? The engine difference there is like negligible.
Yeah,
the game is essentially running on the exact same engine. This is the first year that Modern Warfare allowed you to bring your skins forward, which was a cool thing. But Modern Warfare 3 has been
I actually didn't like that. I've been playing COD,
online
like that.
community for being a DLC and being not that much of an engine upgrade.
You can literally use the same guns in Modern Warfare 3 you can in 2.
The upgrade to it was negligible. This is taking models and skins and UVs and all of that from Unreal Engine 3, an engine that came out.
I think this guy's bringing up a really good point, and actually it illustrates a bigger delusion with people that think that Web 3 is the future of development for video games, and that you can own your skins and then use them in other games. Like, for example, people think that, like, oh, well,
I haven't heard
want
about
to
this.
be able to own, you actually own the NFTs for these skins. Why would it be in the developer's best interest for them to program in functionality for skins in another video game? Why would they ever do that?
Unless they had like a big deal with other companies.
Invincible in World of Warcraft,
or they're all made by the same parent
company.
company.
Use that in Counter-Strike? Because that would require the developers at Valve to program in being able to use Invincible. They're completely incompatible. And this is like, again, people always compare. It's like, oh yeah, it's the gun. It's like, oh, one gun to another gun. But that's just not the way these games work.
Yeah.
What, 15 years?
I could see if it was like the same parent company, like say Activision, and they make 2 lower games down here. Like maybe they could have similar skins, or maybe you get rewarded for having a skin in this game. It can transfer somehow over to the next one. But I mean, that is weird, and that's not a universe I'd like to live in. But
years ago, upgrading to Unreal Engine 5, which I know would be a lot of work. On top of the fact that the game is now being built from scratch on Unreal Engine 5, it would be a fuckload of work to be able to make this happen.
It would be.
Another thing when it comes to Unreal Engine 5 is that, like I said, they're building it from the ground up, because Smite 1 was pushed way past its limits on Unreal Engine 3 with all the spaghetti code. There were constant, like, even just a little behind the scenes info. Don't tell anybody I told you guys this. A lot of the new gods they were making, they couldn't even do the stuff they wanted to do because of the programming on the back end. They just couldn't make it happen. I also know already in Smite 2 that Mori is bug free. She was super easy to make because the engine itself literally already has the capability to code, or already has things implemented in it that make Mori like basically super easy to make. So also the other thing I was going to say was something about Unreal Engine 5. I don't know, I forgot, but let's keep going.
The community is up in arms. So while I'm sitting here, like, I understand the frustration from gamers, but I also think, like, if you spent...
It's something I'm just going to rehash it from I talked about in video and stream. They couldn't even hire people that knew how to code on that engine, because everybody that's taught game design right now is being taught on Unreal Engine 5. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people. So they actually can hire more people and hire better programmers to make this game, to make it bug-free, than they could before, because it was 14 years old and people weren't even being taught how to use it. 14, actually, I think like 20 years, 18 years or something. 17.
Thousands of dollars in microtransactions in a video game. That's kind of on you, right?
It is.
But, like, I'm all for
it's definitely on you, and like you can't expect the video game to exist in a way that makes you feel good about your microtransactions.
Yeah,
it's a very selfish perspective.
Just the harsh reality.
It's like saying in like a gacha game, well, I don't want to have them add in new characters because the new characters would make my old characters not as important. It's very
people do
selfish,
think that,
and it's also like it's reductive to what the potential of the game could ever be.
Yes, we're trying to reach Smite's full potential. That's all we're trying to do. That's all Hi-Rez wants to do. They want to reach its full potential. And somebody also said in my stream the other day that it feels like a money grab. They said it felt like a money grab, and I thought about it. We were talking about it, and I was like, Hi-Rez is a business. You realize that, right? Like, they need to make money to survive. All of their employees would not have existed if Smite 2 doesn't do well. All the pro players wouldn't exist if Smite 2 doesn't do well. And I was just like, isn't any company that needs to make money, isn't that a money grab? I mean, some things may feel more like a money grab than others, especially when it comes to like COD and like FIFA and all those types of games. But I mean, I feel like they've already done so much to try and counteract that thought.
But this just feels a little strange to me that people who bought skins back in 2015 expect those skins to be ported over to a new game. Even if you bought skins...
Well, I think that, again, people just want that, right? I mean, it's not that even
it's just not realistic.
It, they just want it. Mm-hmm. Because some games have it, some games don't have it. Smite 1 will still be available even whenever Smite 2 is out. You can say it's selfish, but if there's enough customers that feel that, you don't have a fan base. Well, you also don't have a fan base if all you do is make things that reward people that are already customers. Because eventually those people will drop off naturally. I think Retail WoW is a great example of that.
And that's not even a good argument, because like I said, Smite 1 was going to go down in a fiery flame if we kept doing that. They kept doing that. So the argument's bad there, because the people that are complaining about that their skins would have gone away anyway. So
like, if you only make content for the people that are already playing your game, you never expand your full potential influence beyond that.
Smite has so much potential.
Year, or hell, even last
a lot of
week.
Smite 1 never reached its full potential because of bad decisions by higher-ups who are no longer with the company, because of bugs, and that's part of the reason it was on that old-ass engine and updating to a new one, and marketing. So these are three things that they can fix to help reach its full potential. So
you can still use them in Smite 1. You can still play them. You weren't scammed, but the calls that like Smite are criminals for working.
Let's take a look and
wait, before he goes on this, I know I'm pausing a lot, guys. I just have a lot to say. Another thing, this is actually controversial, is that they're actually keeping Smite 1 up while Smite 2 is up. And the player base is so small, if we don't attract any new players, it's just going to split up already small player base, which can be rough. So there is some arguments to be made there that might even be bad. But at the end of the day, for the people that are complaining, you can still play Smite 1. You can still keep your skins, at least for the next 2 years, I would assume. So 12 years, I mean, that's quite a lot of time to keep those bad boys.
See right now, Smite game. Okay, so we're going to look at their last 3 tweets.
Oh, there's Kenneth.
I
wonder if he's going to see me. Asmongold, are you going to see me?
There's this one.
I'm just kidding. I don't even watch Asmongold. I never have, but
okay. So let's look and see how many.
He seems like a cool guy.
Smite 2 looks amazing.
Always seems pretty level-headed on his.
So these new skins will transfer. Is there no reason to buy a new skin if they aren't transferring? I mean, to be fair, like this is a very fair question.
That is a good point. Like, I actually agree with that.
Like, are the skins that you are advertising in this tweet going to transfer? Like this is I'm not even going to count this one.
People complaining about Smite 11 or Season 11 skins, I actually get that because I'm the type of person that's like, once I hear about the new hype and the new game, I just want to play that. I just want to try it out and everything. If you're still playing Season 11 and you're like, maybe you don't even know about Smite 2, or maybe you're not fully aware of what's going on, and you're just like buying new skins. You're like, oh, this is cool. And then like you only get like 6 months to use those skins, or it's not even about getting the experience to use those skins. It's just about like knowing that they may be obsolete in like a year or like 6 months. That feels a little bit different. That's actually, I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but that's actually, there was some controversy last year that we had, knowing that SPL wasn't going to exist in 2024, about advertising jerseys and advertising skin-based, like team skin-based skins. I don't know why I said it like that, but I can't really get into it because I might get in trouble. But let's just say I was of the opinion that I felt like that felt really scummy, knowing that the SPL wouldn't exist in a year or in a few months, and trying to get people to buy things to support it.
Good update. How are we gonna fix the battle pass? Better have Smite 1 skin. Okay, there's one guy.
So I'm saying I don't think the general community has this sentiment. There are a lot of people, and we get it. I understand the frustration for sure.
Okay, so it's like there's one guy who posted,
but I also think it's a bit naive.
And he was complaining. He's one guy.
I'm not trying to be offensive. Also, did you guys see Bo Burnham was trending on the side?
Year 11 drops next week. The
people think he might have died.
This is a very fair question, right? Makes perfect sense.
The problem with that is that any skins that they have a deal with, like with Nickelodeon or TMNT or whatever, they're gonna have to redo those deals because it's gonna be different graphics, brand new engine, different game, everything. Like they're gonna have to do the deals again. So, and they may not want to.
Whenever you're gonna lose everything in Smite 2,
like,
okay, there's one
like Nickelodeon in them,
right? Which is like, I mean, to be fair, like if you're advertising skins right now in Smite 1 and you're telling people that they're going to be gone in Smite 2, it seems very fair that people would bring that up. I think that's totally true. Then there's this one here, Quiet Throwback Friday. So this is like, there's nothing. I feel like this isn't so bad.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Deep dive on some of the
features. Clickbait title, which is fine.
It looks like a lot of people really aren't bringing this up as much as it might seem. What's the point whenever skins don't transfer? Was this the same guy? No, it's a different guy. Okay, so there's like this. There's like 4 likes. Check the Reddit. Let me see.
Reddit was pretty torn, yeah.
Smite 2 skin should automatically include ColorForge idea. Oh, about having, you can change the color. Yeah, that's probably true. Let me see. The top for this month.
Reddit was pretty divisive about it, so.
Yeah, talking about skins, gameplay of Smite 2, it really matters. Possible Cupid remodel, clarification of skins. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty contentious on Reddit.
560 comments for a Smite post. I mean,
it's like one of the top posts, and it has 500 comments. Yeah, okay, all right. There's enough people that are like that.
Yeah, Reddit was definitely like that, I think.
Rebuilding the game on a new engine and providing
I don't really read Reddit much, but
free experience on a new engine, a sequel to bring new life to the game, and they are met with
this is fair.
Just an overwhelming amount of negativity because people...
Well, no, it's totally fair for people to be negative. They spend a lot of money and they really like the skins and they want to be able to use them in the new game.
Well,
they're not wrong.
It depends.
For thinking that or feeling that way. That's totally true.
Who
it's just like they can't do it
and spent potentially hundreds of thousands.
Maybe, yeah, you could be frustrated, but there's like levels to it, right? You could be frustrated, and I think a lot of people, I've spoken to a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm frustrated and it sucks. And at first I was mad, but then I just thought about it more and I was like, wait, I'm actually excited about Smite 2, and like, and not everybody can be like that, and it's fine, but
colors on skins aren't going to have them in a sequel.
The more frustrated you are, the more mad you are, the more naive you are.
They didn't even know
in this situation
a sequel existed at the time of purchase. I'm having a tough time defending the gamers here, but it's weird because...
Well, I think that it would be really nice if the Smite 2 developers said, like, hey, you know, like, over time, we're going to add some more of the Smite 1 skins in.
I think
like,
they are doing that. They are doing that.
Maybe a few every year, or maybe like 5 every year for each champion. That'd be nice if they could do
they're
that.
Doing it.
Maybe a bit of a compromise, because a lot of people did invest. Because at the end of the day, right, they did say that. They are every week. They did? Oh, well, what the fuck? Well, then why are people getting mad? Like,
legacy gems, bringing skins back.
Yeah, I don't even get that. So if that's happening, then... Because what did they say in the Reddit post?
Uh-oh, he's going to have to sift through here. He's gonna have to dive deep.
Most things are gonna
By the way, sorry guys if I look tired. I literally woke up like 30 minutes ago, and I was like, I gotta react to this.
Yeah, obviously it doesn't work that way. Okay, so they didn't really say anything about that in at least the infographic
up to
that
par.
they made. A skin microtransaction system doesn't make sense if the game isn't meant to be continued and suddenly gets a sequel after a few years. I mean, after a few years though, right? I mean, Smite's been out for 9 years, hasn't it?
11 basically at this point.
It's been a really long time that Smite's been
12
out.
maybe.
I think that expected 10 years. I mean, it's been 10 years, man. Like, I feel like it's fair.
For including like
it's not
the
like
beta
they're
and
replacing
everything.
It's not like they're pulling a Call of Duty, right? And they're just making a new one every year.
On top of just seeing,
like I said, that's a double-edged sword though.
Bitch about this
because like you got to keep in mind, like the other thing I was going to bring up is like the reason why they're able to make Smite 2 is because of the people that bought the microtransactions in Smite 1. That's where they got the money. So like being able to add in some of those skins over time is very reasonable. Like I think it's
I agree, but I'd argue that everything, it's a live service game. Everything that they've done over to Smite 1 over the years, these past 11 years, was what those skins funded as well. So if you supported Smite 1, you definitely got your money's worth when it comes to them supporting the game and bringing new things into the game and content and everything like that. I mean, it's a live service game. So, but it is true that all that skin money is supporting Smite 2 and making it possible. So
it's very fair for them to say, we can't port them all over, but we'll port over some of the ones that people really like. And then we'll give you a discount on the other ones. I think that's very fair.
I'm also
if you just bought skins and the only reason you bought skins, you didn't even care about what they actually provided in game. All you cared about was like a return on investment when it comes to the company that you're supporting doing something with the money. Hi-Rez has not always done a great job of that, but Smite 1 was a great game. Bugs and everything, most of it coming down to the engine, of course. Bugs and everything, Smite 1 was fun. It was a good game. I would say that you got your return on investment when it comes to them providing a good game over 10 years. Balance sometimes, of course it's bad. But balance is supposed to be bad, in my opinion, in a live service MOBA. Sometimes it's supposed to be bad. If your game is being constantly changed, it's so hard to get it right every single time. I mean, even me, when I think of like balance changes, sometimes I suggest things and I'm like, wait a second, that actually might have some really bad effects down the road or have some negatives. And you have to bounce around high-level play and noobs. And there was a huge divide and rift through all of Smite 1's existence between high-level players and noobs. So you can't get it right every time. So
that I respect in the space, guys like Kira, talk about, you know, fuck this company, SMITE about to make crypto bros feel vindicated. I don't know if that commentary even works either, because if all the SMITE skins were NFTs, they still wouldn't work in the new game, because
that's what people don't understand. Just because you have an NFT doesn't mean you can just like flawlessly port over some NFT from one game to another game. What about if the game is made in Unreal and then the other one was made in some proprietary engine? Like, how could you do that? The coding wouldn't even fit together.
To still do that work to make them function on the models regardless. Like this, I don't think this makes crypto bros feel vindicated. I'm also just wondering why people are as outraged as they are. Like, you bought skins in a game that still exists. A new game is coming out and you just expect them to put all that work into transferring all of those skins over. That hasn't been the standard for a long time. Like, you can look at Overwatch 2 and Modern Warfare 3 and hell, even CS2.
It might not be a standard, but it's an ideal. I think it's very fair for people to not be happy that it's not happening. Like, yeah, I think it's very fair. Like, it sucks. It sucks, but there it is.
Yeah, they've done it. FIFA every year doesn't take.
Well, here's an interesting question. If you're still watching this video, if high-res, let's say AI gets to a point where they can do all of this. If high-res could click a button, obviously this would put a lot of people out of work, so I don't even suggest this, but I'm just saying this is a hypothetical. If high-res could click a button and AI would take every single SMITE 1 skin and port it over to SMITE 2 flawlessly, everything in the game, and you didn't have to spend it, so if you already had those skins coming into SMITE 2, you'd keep every single skin. Because Asmongold just said that's an ideal. Would that even be? I don't even know if that would be. I mean, it would be good for those people, but like, I don't know. It just seems like it just depends on how you view skins and when you buy them. Me personally, when I buy a skin in any video game, I just see it as like, this is like a temporary hedonistic, like almost like buying a piece of candy. I'm going to enjoy it for a little bit, and then it'll be gone forever. Even if I still have it. It's not even like I'm enjoying it when I first bought it. It's just, then it just becomes, I don't even notice the skins I use anymore a lot of the time, because it's just the character model. And I'm just, but to be fair, I'm also, like, all I care about is competitive. So I'm a little bit different. Like, I literally will play on the lowest graphics possible in any game, because I don't really care about graphics. I just want to try and get really good at the game.
Not the standard. We've known this for years. And the thing is games like FIFA,
and I also think that you should not ever buy a skin expecting for the game to exist in perpetuity.
Right.
It is a very unhealthy mindset, and I think it's stupid.
Fucking Call of Duty and Madden, they're a yearly release. SMITE has been going on for 10 years. So you expect 10 years of work on skins to be ported over to the new game.
That's crazy.
It feels entitled.
There's no way.
And usually when I have these conversations, I'm on the fucking side of the gamer, because a lot of these companies are scummy companies. They're greedy companies. But I'm trying to figure out where SMITE went wrong here. Like, maybe they didn't need to make a sequel, but like the way I see it is maybe they realized that, like, you know, 10-year-old code, potentially longer, on Unreal Engine 3 is just not going to hold up for what they want to do. They make a...
That's good insight, but also the insight that these, I mean, they could probably infer it or deduce it based on things. I don't know if Asmongold will say it or Big Fry will say it, but it's not just that, like, they just wanted to make, they're just like, yeah, let's just make SMITE 2. It'll be fun. Like, it's necessary.
New game from...
Here's
as
the
far
problem
as
with SMITE.
Surviving.
This looks like garbage.
Oh shit, whose video is he watching? He should have looked at one of my videos.
That's the problem. It was just like WoW. And what would I say about WoW?
It looks like garbage, maybe?
It looks like it came out in 2015. It's outdated. I mean, like, of course they want to update the graphics, because the problem is, like, SMITE, like, there are games, like, at a certain point, you reach the saturation point where everybody knows about this game and people have just chosen not to play it. And the next chance that you're going to have to like really expand that user base is really with the next game. And I think that's why they're making this new game.
That is a, oh my God, that was loud. I paused. He's about to say something. That is like the biggest thing. Like most people have heard of Smite 1 and either didn't want to touch it because of like high res, or they've tried it out and they were like, yeah, it was pretty fun. I just couldn't really get into it. Like I was talking about earlier, like there's a lot of different things that it comes to that. And Smite 2 has the opportunity to kind of breathe a breath of fresh air and all that, and maybe get some returning players, get some brand new players, develop a new audience, especially in other countries around the world if it has a global release. So yeah,
that's the main reason.
Also, when it comes to the graphics, he was just talking about how it looks like shit. Like I said before, I feel like I'm pretty numb, or maybe I just don't even, when I see games, I don't even know whether they're good graphics or not. I'm not even kidding. Unless it's like really good graphics where you're like, holy cow, I can't even tell the difference between reality and this. But yeah, like right there, I was like, oh, was it bad? I wouldn't know.
Scratch. They also offer you 50% discounts because you
because you can look, by the way, you can look at the game. Look at the game. Since 2020. Which, to be fair, it's grown a lot, but like it was doing pretty well. This is in 3 years. Like it's doing worse than it has in like 3 years. I mean, obviously it's gone up a lot recently because of, I don't know, maybe some sort of update or you know, the announcement.
Worlds usually makes the game go up.
But like, yeah, that's also COVID, right? So, I mean, it's not like the game is doing amazing. And it is still going down from 2023 to 2024. It has gone down aside from this one like big update. So I can see, like, you know, they're looking at the graph and they're thinking, wow, our game is dying. It's slowly dying. Yeah, it is. It's slowly dying.
Before, I'm trying to figure out where their greed is coming from. A game that they supported, again, it's a free game for 10 years. Yeah, they have microtransactions for sure, those microtransactions are all just cosmetic skins. And like, if you
you guys notice we keep watching the same clips of Smite 2. We keep seeing Anubis killing Kukulkan under tower. We keep seeing that Loki. We just keep watching the same thing. I'm going crazy.
Thousands of dollars that you spent, even though you're using.
Jimmy, you're stunning this guy under tower and tuning him
right now.
Which, by the way, looks awesome. The graphics on, I could tell the graphics look cool on that. That's for sure.
Get it? If Smite 2 just like never existed and Smite dropped an update that just removed your skins, like you'd have a problem. But this is a sequel. Like you bought skins for Smite 1, a game that's been in development and like supported for 10 years. Like to me, it would be like if I bought a skin in Rainbow Six Siege for $1. And all of a sudden Rainbow Six Siege 2 gets announced 3 years from now, and I just expect all of those skins to transfer over. Like, no, this is the standard. This is what we've been talking about for years. This is why microtransactions and buying microtransactions is a waste of money. I'm just like, yeah, it sucks. But like also you knew you knew the assignment here.
It is a waste of money, and plenty of things are a waste of money in life. But it doesn't mean that like you can't enjoy those things, or especially when you buy them. Like it couldn't be like when you put like when you get anything like cosmetic done, you can consider that a waste of money. When you just go and enjoy things and have a good time, you know, those could be considered waste of money. But as long as you enjoyed it when you got it, or at least for a little bit, and you got your money's worth out of it, then you should be okay with it. But it seems like a lot of people think that their money's worth was not.
What the fuck this is?
For some reason.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like people think that like, what do you like? You thought you were buying stocks? What is this?
That's what I said. I was like, it's not an investment. It's not when you buy skins. It's not an investment.
Entitlement online and just a lot of just like overwhelming negativity about this game release. And even though I have no,
here we go again. The clips.
Like I'm not a Smite player. I don't play it.
He has no skin in the game. No pun intended.
Consistently, I'm just curious as to why there's such outrage here when the standard in the gaming industry is that you release a game every year and your skins from last year don't transfer. Why is
that is the problem?
Getting so much heat when they have supported it for 10 years. It just feels strange to me. And maybe that 10 year is like that sunken cost, like
because
it's a double-edged sword.
Invested over 10 years, bought a lot of skins, and they want to keep the skins. Like I don't think that it's really. It might not really be all that serious. It's just that they want to keep the skins. That's it.
realize how much you've spent on it, and like it just sucks that that shit. Like, did you think the game was gonna be around forever? Like, what would happen if Smite, instead of announcing a sequel, just announced that they were shutting down? Would people be asking for refunds? Would be like,
this is what Hi-Rez would do if they were a scummy company. They wouldn't try and make Smite 2. They would take all the money from Smite 1, Year 11, and all that, and run with it. They would abandon all their employees, fire all of them, slowly, trickle down the money, make sure all the higher-ups get all the money. Not trickle down, trickle up, I guess. And just keep everybody in the dark and not be honest about what's happening with their development, what they're trying to do. That's what a really bad company would do. I'm not saying what Hi-Rez is doing is perfectly, flawless and everything, but they're definitely not even in the middle, in my opinion. They're not in the middle of those two things, from perfection to being super shitty and stealing a bunch of money and then abandoning the game. I would say they're probably at like I would say like 80-90% point, getting close to like doing what they need to do in order to survive. Plus, to see if the community is actually doing what's right.
I'm glad that like now, because microtransactions have been the norm for about 15 years now. Like, where we've had microtransactions in a lot of games, and people are kind of like acclimated to it in the last 10 years. And I'm glad to see that like there are certain games that are going end of service. They are, making a sequel that doesn't port everything over. And I think this is really good, because what it does is it gives people a sense of awareness of like, hey, by the way, idiot, this is what you're buying.
I didn't call anybody idiots.
Transient fucking pixels that you don't even own.
There you go.
And I think that this is a good thing as
That's
like a
literally what I said.
Reality check.
We're on the same page.
Going to support it come launch, or if they're just going to stay on Smite 1 and just let the sequel die. I don't know. It's a weird conversation, and I feel like
that could happen.
This is one of those times where I'm not on the side of the gamer, and like
I really hope people don't. I don't think there's enough of these people, but I hope people don't feel vindicated to ruin Smite 2's launch and existence just because of them being frustrated with their skins. I just think that would be, I don't know, but maybe if there's enough of them, that's just life. Maybe that would prove that it was the wrong decision. Who knows?
I wish I could sit here and be like,
I'm on the side of the gamer. I totally understand where they're coming from. I think that it's super disappointing that they're not going to have the skins, and it sucks. But I can also see why the developer does it, and I totally understand that too. There is no right option here that makes both parties happy, that doesn't cost either a tremendous amount of disappointment or a tremendous amount of time. It just sucks. It's sad. And I think that Smite 2 saying, hey, apparently they said that we're going to...
Well, the problem is that the right option is the only realistic option, because if they're doing the realistic option, the only thing they can do, because they can't port over all these skins, then it can't be the wrong decision, because they're trying to make a new game. Like, it could be the wrong decision, but if you can't think of it like, oh, they're scummy for doing this, because they're just doing what they have to do, Unless your argument is they shouldn't make Smite 2 even to begin with, but that goes back to what I said. You would have just lost all of your skins and money anyway, because the game would have just died. So...
add in some of the new skins over time after release of Smite 2, I think that is like such a great compromise.
Yep.
That is such a great compromise, and I mean, realistically, for a live service game like this, you couldn't ask for more. I think this is very fair.
Yeah.
No, we gotta talk about this. This company's doing this.
And Hi-Rez still has plenty of room to add more stuff. If people still hate it and still complain, they can add a little bit more. But again, it goes back to, I think somebody from the company made a post about it. They've basically done everything they can do without like being in the negative on profit now when it comes to Smite 2. So they may add some more stuff, but they've done a lot to try and compensate players without being, a dying company. It's a company. They need to survive.
I don't know, man. I feel like they did everything as right as they could outside of spending all of that time and resources porting all of your skins over, which if I was in their position, I don't think I would do either. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. This is a conversation that has been stirred up.
I would do what they did. I would add in some of the really popular ones, like obviously because like they have graphics.
All right, this video is almost over, and we've kind of gone over the same stuff. like nonstop. And the problem with videos like this, I don't ever do reaction videos, but the problem I have with videos like this is that anybody watching this, especially if you've watched the whole thing, like I'm not really gonna change your mind, especially if you're really animated about it and you really care and you really hate that Hi-Rez is doing this. And maybe there's some of you out there that maybe watch some of this and you're like, yeah, that's a decent point. Maybe I'm less frustrated now and everything. But there's also probably gonna be a lot of people that are just gonna be in the comments being like, you're a Hi-Rez show, shut up. Like, I lost all my money, and it's not, nobody's mind is gonna be changed when it comes to that. Because it's pretty polarizing. But I don't know. It's pretty entertaining, and I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on it. And of course, I'll be supporting SMITE too, and I hope you guys will as well. And at the end of the day, guys, SMITE 1 wouldn't exist forever. It wasn't going to exist forever. And, you know, this is what SMITE 2, we can see what SMITE 2 will bring. Hopefully you guys will be supporting it. And again, I said it in the other video, it's free to play. You could try the game. If you really like SMITE 2, start spending money on it again if you want. Or don't. But when you spend that money on a microtransaction, realize it's not a real thing. You're not going to keep it forever. Enjoy it while you can. And maybe even see it as just supporting the company when you buy a mentor. That's a good, decent way to look at it as well. Especially because Hi-Rez is not a big company. They're not like these huge games a lot of you guys are playing with billions of dollars behind them. They're definitely not. And there's a lot of real people in the company that are really good people. And that's part of the reason I want to support SMITE too. I know a lot of people at Hi-Rez that are just good people. This isn't helping my case of becoming of being a Hi-Rez show. But again, like I said, I'm always honest. And I say bad things about the company all the time. Not bad things, honest things that may be bad. So yeah, of course, not that they need it, but Asmon Gold, of course, reacting to Big Guy TV. Is it Big Guy or Big Fry? It's Big Fry. I was saying Big Guy because it's Big Fry the whole time. I'm sorry, Big Fry TV. But they don't need it. They're huge. They're huge. Everybody knows them. So, but yeah, their videos will be in the description. And yeah, that's basically it. Of course, this was the clickbait title, why everyone hates SMITE 2. I don't think most people do. I think that was just the vocal minority. But it makes for good content. So yeah, that's basically it. 50-minute video. If you stayed and watched the whole thing, listened to everything I had to say, I appreciate it. Let me know your comments, your thoughts down in the comments below. Any questions? And yeah, if you're frustrated about skins, the last thing I'll say is if you're frustrated about it, I get it. I'm not trying to be mean, and I know a lot of people are very animated about it, so there might be some people offended in the comments by some of the stuff I said, especially people being naive. But hey, that's just my opinion. And yeah, that's basically it. All right, stay safe and healthy as always. A lot of people are getting sick right now, so stay healthy. Take your vitamins. Drink your water. Okay? All right. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bye-bye.